guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've done anything related to junk journaling, so I thought I would come back and give you guys a quick flip through of my completed junk journals. So I'm going to split this into multiple videos. At this point I have 3 completed junk journals, so I will be doing 3 hopefully somewhat short videos showing you guys a full flip through. So if you guys are interested in seeing how they actually turned out, because I know I did some junk journal with me videos so you could see specific spreads, but at least here you can see how things actually turned out in the end. So let's get started. This was my first junk journal, and this was also the first one that I actually made. Things I learned from this: I used too many pieces of paper that were too thick, so I have a lot of washi tape kind of sticking everything together, like trying to just hold the cover on. This was also when I was doing stapled spines, so it was not as sturdy as my sewn spines, but that is that. I do still really like the actual journal, and it's nice to see the evolution in my notebook making skills as well, to go from journal to journal. So anyway, moving on. So this is my first junk journal, and you'll see in here that I did write in volume 1, and I have the dates. So most of my journals last me between 3 and 4 months for the most part. I have started making them a little with fewer pages, just because since I tape things in and like tip-ins and all of that kind of stuff, they get kind of thick. So I found that doing fewer pages, I go through them a little bit faster, and that way they don't get super chunky to the point that it's hard to actually write on some of the pages. So in here I have pockets. Oops, I have this like little guy in here. This was just an extra piece that I didn't actually want to use for anything, so I just like stuck it in here. And you'll notice this is my first junk journal, so I was trying to figure out my style at this point. This was just from a Sephora ad, and I just liked the colors on it, so I just kind of taped it in here on the back of this, because this particular piece of this particular page is from a magazine, so it was pretty thin, so I just used this to like strengthen and like thicken up that inside page there. So you'll see playing around with like washi tape and stamps and all that kind of stuff. I did really like this spread, just playing around with things from, you know, scrapbooking paper and craft paper and things from like magazines, washi tape, like all that kind of stuff, just sort of playing around with layout. This first junk journal was a lot of experimenting with what I actually wanted to do in a junk journal. So initially I had these sort of collage type spreads with things that I liked from, you know, stickers and magazines and washi tape and all that kind of stuff. Playing around with dip pen lettering and this gold ink that I had. It's definitely kind of messy. And you know, this, oh gosh, so it actually sticks. I can't even take this out anymore, but this is a card pocket from Traveler's Company that I just did sideways so that I could put in a little watercolor piece that I did. And then I started getting into more like actual spreads of memories, if you will. So this was from Christmas Happy Mail from 2016, which I've been trying to be really good about dating all of my pages. I think I've probably got a couple that I missed, but for the most part, I try and date them. So these were bits and pieces from things that Happy Mail friends sent me, and there are pieces that I wanted to keep in here. So it's not everything, but I have a couple of things in there. And then I also, I sent out Happy Mail, so I did a list of who I actually sent Happy Mail to. I have things from orders, so I did an order from LUMBEAR Crafts and another order from, what is this, PAPERGEEKCO? Yeah, that must have been it. So this was a washi tape order, and I got another washi tape from them. This was from my boss at work. She gave us this little like care package with ritual stuff. Oops. So you'll see a lot of like tip-ins, and a lot of times when I do tip-ins, I basically just will do the tip-in, and then under it I'll write what it is. So sometimes it'll be kind of neat writing, and sometimes it'll just be like the date and what it was, for example. So I'll put in cards, things that, you know, I get in Happy Mail or orders that I don't really have any specific reason to keep, but that I just kind of want to have. So I'll just throw them in here so that I have part of that. You'll see I have like a little tip in there. Oops. This was a page from a magazine that I really liked, so I just put it in, like I just put the whole spread in here so that I would have that. And then this was the center of my junk journal, and so I really liked this particular page from the magazine and I wanted to have the full thing, but I was like, okay, well, I want to do something with it, so I used it to practice some lettering, and I thought that that quote was really fitting. So it's, there's freedom waiting for you on the breezes of the sky, and you ask, what if I fall? Oh, but my darling, what if you fly? And I just thought that it went well with this particular picture. So see here, this was one of those like kind of messy, low-key spreads where I did a trip to Paris, and so I just wrote information about it, but I didn't actually have any like business cards or really anything else to put in here. I just wanted to remember the actual day, so I just threw that in there like that. I have travel stuff, making tip-ins out of Starbucks cup holders and all that kind of stuff in here. Oops. So this is one of the reasons why this particular junk journal is really chunky. Then, so you can see, I just kind of throw in all kinds of random stuff, like anything that I was like, oh, that's cute, I kind of want to keep that. Rather than throwing it into a folder, I put them in my junk journals. So one thing I do is I do a fair amount of Happy Mail stuff in here. So things that I get that aren't pieces of, for example, aren't stickers or ephemera that I'm going to use again, things that came from the envelope, or things like smaller note cards or things that are just really cute, I'll throw in here, because otherwise I just have like envelopes of letters from people so that I keep them, but they're not really organized in any way. But I'll take certain things and I'll put them in my junk journal, especially if they're smaller. Obviously some of them are just too big, they just wouldn't fit. My coffee spread. So that is basically my first junk journal. So you'll notice that, you know, at the beginning it was definitely much messier, but then as I kind of went through, it got a little bit more, I kind of figured out what was going on. And it's kind of hard to tell doing a linear flip through, but I actually didn't fill out the pages in order necessarily. So for example, some of them initially were more in order, but like this, I have stuff from December 14th, December 12th, December 30th. This was from February. This was from December. This is from January. So I don't fill things out in order. I do it based on what page I wanted to do, like the color of the paper or the space that I had. This one I actually did more full-size pages, but when I have partial pages, that's when I'll jump around a lot more. So that is definitely something that I like about this, is I can go through and look at it linearly, but I also, if I pay attention to the dates, things are kind of jumbled and out of order. So I don't know, it's kind of a fun place to just play around with being messier, since my bullet journal is always a lot more structured. It's very linear, and it's also a lot neater. So I really enjoy playing around with these junk journals. So that was my first junk journal. I will be back in the future with other episodes showing you guys flip throughs of my next few junk journals. So I hope you guys enjoy this. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.